Okay, team. Good morning. And now I'm going to record the last part, or the other part of the liquidity engineering, which is called the normal liquidity engineering. So the normal liquidity engineering, I was explaining that it's divided into several parts, or maybe it's divided into 6 more parts. So that it's only the normal liquidity engineering is divided into those parts, but also the other liquidity engineering can also be applied in the same way. So what I wanted to talk about today is that we're going to talk about the normal liquidity engineering. Normal liquidity engineering and other categories, and other 4 categories. Let me say other 4 categories. So the normal liquidity engineering is mainly used in entry confirmations during the market structure methodology, and we only have a saying that if no confirmation and no entry. Okay, so we only use the normal liquidity engineering for entry confirmations, even if it's a higher time frame or a lower time frame, it's used in entry confirmations, but they all differ in use, or they all differ in appearance, but they all have the same reason or the same rule, is entry, right together. So now we have the first category of this normal liquidity engineering, which is the first category of the normal liquidity engineering, which is the one. We have the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering. The higher time frame normal liquidity engineering. How does the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering look like? So it has both the bullish and the bearish scenario. So let's assume now this is a price is moving in a bullish scenario like this. So now this is a weekly time frame. Okay, it's a weekly time frame. So price performs a shift, a break of market structure. I told you the type of shift we are always having, or that always gives a hold, and this is a break of market structure. So price is having this resistance level on a weekly time frame, having that resistance level on a weekly time frame. Remember, I explained about how this normal liquidity engineering come from. So now this becomes the weekly resistance level. This becomes the weekly resistance level. So for the case of the weekly resistance level, we have sellers who have been selling from this level here. You have sellers who have been selling from this level here. So after those sellers selling from this level, price takes their stop losses out, because now this is a place where we have stop losses here above. We have sales there. Okay, stop losses. So what applies after that? Doing that, price comes to take them out, okay, from that resistance level. So what we have to do is we have to wait for price to come, and we test that resistance level and take our sales accordingly. Now the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering, because now this is a higher time frame normal liquidity, is referred to as an aggressive entry. is referred to as an aggressive entry, okay, because we enter directly from the weekly time frame. And the risk, we shall be risking high, the risk is also high, the risk is high, and the reward is also high, the reward is high. But whenever we are using this, it means that we are targeting, whenever we are using the higher time frame, it's called the higher time frame, normal liquidity engineering, we are always targeting more pips than the normal one, than the lower one. Because when you're using the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering, the higher time frame normal liquidity, we always risk 100 and plus, maybe 100 pips plus, not more than that. But the reward, we are targeting 1,000 pips plus, okay, when we are using the normal liquidity engineering, when you're using normal liquidity engineering, so on the weekly time frame. But what are we going to do? Where are we going to place our stop losses if you have a high time frame normal liquidity like the weekly? So so if we enter aggressively, like from this level here, if we enter aggressively from this level there, where are we going to put our stop loss? Where are we going to be putting our stop loss? Our stop loss is going to be coming, let's assume that we have now the level, we have now this call that closed here on the weekly time frame. Our stop loss is supposed to be at this level as the FMD, the high, but because now not everyone is having data, is having big capital, so you'll be finding difficult in marking your stop loss. But what are you going to be doing? What you're going to be doing is you're going to come to the 4-hour time frame, because now the 4-hour time frame coordinates with the weekly time frame. So what are you going to be doing? You're going to come to the 4-hour and look at the candle that closed this level here. So you're going to decide that candle to use it as your FMD points. You're going to use that candle as a new FMD point, and this becomes the red line is the OTR, because the OTR, the overthrow, is where we always have the entry. So that's how the high time frame normal liquidity engineering is used for a bearish scenario. So for a bearish scenario, it's used like the same thing. So price is moving down, forming lower highs or lows. For price happens to form a shift point. Now instead of having this as the weekly resistance level, whenever it's bullish, it performs the weekly support, the weekly support level. Okay, so now that becomes the weekly support level. So meaning the support level is the one that is holding buyers, is holding price to go upper. Okay, it's the one that holding price to go upper. So this is how we have to do it. So we wait for price to take out the stop losses, the SLs, for those are the sellers. So price goes down, the never price comes to close above and performs a shift point. So we know that price is going to come and retest this weekly support level. So we're going to enter the buys aggressively. It's called aggressive entry, and we're going to move to the 4-hour and look at the candle that closed on this weekly level, and we use that candle to place our stop loss. I told you you'll be risking 50 to 100 pips, but the target is going to be in thousands. Okay, so when I'm talking about the high time frame, I mean when we are looking at we always look at the weekly, monthly, the daily, and sometimes the 4-hour as our higher time frames. And the high time frames, I said we enter aggressive entry, okay, for both the bullish and the bearish, scenario all together. So now we have the low. Let me first show you some examples of the high time frame normal liquidity engineering. I have them here. So this is one example of the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering from the daily time frame. From the daily time frame, you can clearly see price was dropping from the high, this one, and then came. So price performed a closure. After price performing a closure, price had to come and test this higher time from the liquidity engineering, and then it continued moving up. So this is how the higher time from normal liquidity engineering looks like, and it rewards. So now this one is giving 500 pips. So what could be the risk? This is a weekly time frame. What could be the risk? So you can clearly see here, you don't have a count that you don't have the best. This here. So you can see you're risking 64 pips, but the target is 500 pips, which is good. Okay, but if you want to do the refinements, because sometimes we always find difficult in refining these areas, so what we do is now we come to the 4-hour time frame, and so the count that we would have used as our stop loss, maybe it would have taken this level here as our stop loss, because now this is the candle that closed. Okay, so our stop loss would have been here from that level there. Okay, so maybe we would have put our stop loss from that level there, and then hold our pair. So that's how the normal liquidity engineering look like on a higher time frames. Always aggressive entry, because we don't need more confirmation, because there is no way we're going to be getting those confirmations. Now when you start covering about agglomeration 6, that's when you're going to understand how to use this higher time frame normal areas. So we also have AUDNZ. You also have AUDNZ, which is also having a normal liquidity engineering from the daily time frame. So let me first cut here. So you can clearly see down price. I was explaining someone yesterday. So we can see now our price on the daily time frame was dropping, forming highs, lows, then price happened to break that level and performed a shifty point. So now this was a weekly support level that was holding the buys. So sellers or the stop loss were taken out with the closure, then price went on and performed a shifty point with this momentum count. You see the momentum count, meaning that price had to come and test this higher time frame normal liquidity engineering. So you can get, you see price came, tested it, and moved a good amount of pips. Now for the sake of the 161 pips, now for the sake of having for the sake of the daily time frame, you can actually guess, or you can actually use a small target. You can see only risking 15 pips, and it was actually moving, but it gave a good amount of pips, just because when price was approaching that area, it performed a shift point, and I forgot to explain that. I'm going to explain it. So price came. So now what are we going to consider when you are holding this position on a high time frame normal liquidity engineering? So let's assume that the price has been dropping, forming the lower high and lower lows. Let's assume that we are on a weekly time frame. So price then performs a shifty point and comes back to retest. So as price is coming back, remember it's going to be forming highs and lows as it's moving. So if price performs a shift point and leaves any area of liquidity as it's approaching that level, it's going to come and test this higher time frame normal liquidity near fine. So this is where I had a shift point. That's where we had a shift point, and this is where we had a normal. So you're going to enter the buys from this level, from the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering, if the weekly time frame from that level. But your exit, you're not going to be holding so long. Reason why you're not going to be holding so long is as price was approaching this higher time frame normal liquidity engineering, it performed a shift point here. So after performing a shift point, price performed an area of liquidity. Remember, when the price leaves an area of liquidity, it indicates that it's going to come and test it, meaning that your exit point should be on this higher time frame normal, on this area of liquidity, because now price is going to come and retest it, and then you continue moving down. But if price does it, because sometimes price may do something like that, or may do something like this, may do something like this. So if price doesn't leave, because now this price perform the shift on the weekly, let's assume that this is a weekly time frame. So if price doesn't leave any available area of liquidity and just moves straight with some massive candles, it's going to just come and test this level and then continue dropping. That's when you know that this position is going to hold for a long time, and it's going to give you a good amount of pips, because we didn't have any area of liquidity that is going to push price upper. Okay, so what price does, comes, test that level, and then continues to drop on a higher time frame. So now this is what you should understand. If price is approaching the normal liquidity engineering from the higher time frame, and it leaves an area of liquidity, you know now price is going to come and react to this area. So your exit point should be like the same here. As price was approaching the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering, it left the area of liquidity, which area of liquidity came, performed the shift as it was approaching here. So firstly it approached this area and also performed the continuation break, and the area of liquidity left was this one. So price approached that level, you can clearly see, approached that level, and then it continued to drop, because price had already performed a shift point and it indicated a reversal sign. So we also have our GBP CHF having a higher time frame normal liquidity engineering. Yeah, so now this was GBP CHF. As GBP CHF was coming, it had this higher time frame. Was it from the weekly time frame? Yeah, it had this higher time frame normal liquidity engineering from the weekly time frame. I had marked it here. So price came, took the stop process for the RCS, then later price came to perform a shift. Price came to perform a shift point here. So you can hear price performed a shift point. Yeah, even now this was also good, because price performed an inside formation, but some of the pairs don't perform inside formation. But the inside formation was actually washed out, and price came to test DC higher time frame normal liquidity engineering. Consider this is 115 pips, but as it continues to move, you're going to be getting a good amount of pips. Now we also have this as a higher time frame normal liquidity engineering. Price performed a shift point. Here. So after price performing a shift point, price came to test this higher time frame normal liquidity engineering. Maybe this was we also have this one, but let me see if it's performed clearly on the daily time frame, because that is also a higher time frame normal liquidity engineering from. Yeah, so from the daily time frame, price performed a normal liquidity engineering from this from that level. I'll be teaching you about demiators, but the best area was supposed to be from this level here, because that's where price behaved unfavorably. The best area was supposed to come from that level, and price performs the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering. And can guys, now this is always an aggressive entry, and whenever it's a daily time frame, you can actually risk small, but the target is always big for the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering. Okay, the higher time frame normal liquidity. So that's how the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering they work. How the higher time frame normal liquidity engineering work. Okay, and they give high probability setups because of the